Live from St. Andrews, which is in New Brunswick, Canada. We're very yellow today. Just got back from biking, so we have our gear on where nobody hits us. So, oh, there's Ricky Doodle. You have an idea? What's behind us?
Bay of Fundy.
I think it's the Bay of Fundy, yeah. It's a bay of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for watching, and when you want to see more of our passion for real estate and adventure, tune in live on Tuesdays at noon, or you can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. And remember, we are always here to help you fulfill your dreams with real estate, sales, investing, and property management. Just give us a comment, shout out. You can either text, email, or call. We're here.
Okay, so wanted to tell you a little bit about St. Andrews here. We've actually done some awesome biking. There's a Van Dorn Trail, and Van Dorn Trail is actually from the Van Dorns that were here, and they actually settled on Minister's Island. So do you want to say a little bit about Minister's Island? You haven't said much.
Yeah,
so.
Minister's Island, it's a huge island. It's pretty big for one person if you think about it, you know. But this guy Van Dorn, you know, he was a baron. He was one of the originators who built the Canadian Pacific Railway, and so obviously there was a lot of money, and he bought this island back in 1891, and he turned it into his summer estate. So it was quite a.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it so we're not so blacked out because the sun is behind us. Gotcha. But we wanted you to have a picture of the water and everything. And I don't know how blacked out we are. We probably, yeah, we're pretty blacked out. But it's kind of bright out here. But so go ahead. You said something.
Yeah, so he lived there for 50, 60 years and made it his personal estate. He had 50 rooms in this giant mansion that we saw today, and it was all self-contained. He had a barn and had cattle there, sheep, chickens, grew a lot of crops on the property, had a personal, what do you call it, indoor, where they grow gardens in the wintertime.
Oh,
you know, where
a greenhouse. Greenhouse.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, you could see back in the early
Thanks,
1900s how, you know, even then they were looking for ways to innovate. I mean, they had a windmill on the property that we used to pump water up from the well, and they didn't have electricity, but they had a turbine that would burn gas that would then power steam and then power electricity and things like that.
So this house was actually built in the 1890s, and it was actually before that it was settled by a minister, pastor, whatever you would say, that was in the original settlement of St. Andrews. So I guess the Passamaquoddy Indians were in this area, and the Revolutionary War drove the people up here, and they kind of took over. And then the minister was out there originally, and then later on, Van Dorn built this estate there in 1917, and he had it until about, I believe, well, in 1890s, and then in 1970 he actually built a two-car garage to put his Model T Ford in, so that was kind of interesting. And then in the 40s is when he thought it would really go to the family, and it really didn't go to the family.
Right.
So,
and this is kind of like a reflection on some of you that might have family members that have property that they're saving it for the kids or what have you, and you know what, I mean, a lot of times, you know, those dreams might be your dream, but it's not the children's dream, and it's not something that the children want to partake in. And so to me it was just I mean, obviously, who's going to have a need for a 50 bedroom home you know, I could see like, hey, Bill, you know, I'm going to will this to you when I die. And it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this, Dad?
Right. And, you know, the major thing we actually forgot to say about Minister's Island, we were biking all over, but you can only access the island 2 times a day. So it's only open during low tide. So you actually have to access it. So during low tide, this whole area behind us here is actually ground. You can see the ground. They go clamming and everything like that, which is pretty amazing. But the tide actually, this area has one of the largest tidal changes, and the tide actually goes out, they were saying 24 feet. And at some points, I think actually up by Hopewell and things, it's like the equivalent of 3-story buildings, you know, well, that's about 30 feet. So yes, so, but it is a massive change in the tidal, and we, so you can only get to Minister's Island. Like this morning, we woke up very, very early. You could get to it from sunrise until 10 a.m. And so we wanted to go and experience it, and then you wouldn't be able to, all the buildings and everything are closed later on the day, so they were only open from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. And so you have to experience it during low tides. And we actually, when we were leaving, they were actually turning people away that were kind of upset that they drove all the way, but you have to check the tidal plan. So it's also, again, available tonight at like 5:30 until sunset. So it's a very interesting concept, but you know, to access your house or to go, you would have to plan by the tidal changes, because you can't get on and off the island without that.
Right.
And what was also pretty amazing is when we went across it, it was like, if you see this rockiness, these stones, it wasn't really wet. It wasn't splashing. It was really kind of dry, and it was it was like pebbles, and it drains very well. Yeah. And so it was more like going down a cobblestone street or something. It was definitely bumpy, but it wasn't, we thought it was going to be muddy or something like that, and it wasn't. It was very, very passable. People drive their cars on it, they walk, they bike, so very, very passable. And again, if you're just now kind of listening, it's Minister's Island in St. Andrews. They call it St. Andrews by the Sea, this beautiful, beautiful place here with the tidal changes. And this is in New Brunswick, Canada. So, did you want to add anything?
Well, just again, maybe some observational real estate thoughts, because as an investor, I continually look for business opportunities, and where I look at what other people created, you know, in terms of a business opportunity. Obviously, this was a luxury. The Minister's Island for Van Dorn was a luxury place for him to retreat. So he didn't look at it as an investment in terms of, hey, I'm gonna rent out hotel rooms. No,
right.
But what I was just talking to Anna about is this RV park is owned, well, the name of it is
So this one, he's talking about the RV park behind us here.
Yeah. The land
See the fish there?
We think it's owned by the Kiwanis.
It is.
And
it's the
so
Kiwanis.
this is their way of raising money, making money. And they took this land, what was their land, probably one of the Kiwanis members owned it, probably farmland.
We don't know the story. If anyone knows, comment.
Yeah, but but my belief is they cleared the land, if it wasn't already cleared, as